Hi everyone, it's Dr. Lalitaa here. Today's video is all about what will people think. So this video is really powerful because what will people think is one of the biggest thought processes that will prevent you from getting what you want, what you really want. Because you can really stop yourself from reaching what you want because you're thinking about what will people think. And that's going to stop you from reaching a place that you actually want to go down because you're stopping yourself. Now, when we grow up, or as we're growing up rather, what's happening is that we develop a way of being in the world around us based on what we're told. So if you're told, stop doing that, people are going to say that you think that you're crazy, or stop doing that, and that's not what boys do. Don't do that. Girls don't behave like this. All of these different comments, they have an impact on us and they prevent us from being a certain way. So we develop a way that we think that we need to be in order to be accepted or to get validation or to get approval. So this is the way that we then start to live in the world around us because we think that this is what we need to do. So we think that, okay, I need to behave this way, I need to behave this way. And it's drilled within us that we have to do this because otherwise people aren't going to accept it. Now, not everyone goes through this. It's again how we interpret situations growing up. You could be the complete opposite where it's like, actually, you know what? I don't really care what people think. And it doesn't really bother me. And still going out and living your life, not caring what other people think. Whereas actually you might think that, no, I do care what people think. And another really interesting point is we can't, or we will never ever know what people will think of us because we're interpreting it from a place of our own perspective. So what I mean by that is I could look at someone and be like, oh my God, they're not giving me eye contact. They're not looking at me. They're looking on the floor when I'm trying to talk to them. They're clearly not interested. Like they're not behaving in the way that I want them to. Now, for that person, that might be their way of being. Now we're assuming that based on our own perspective, based on if someone's interested, they will talk to me, they will look at me. But for that person, that might not be their normality. That might not be a norm for them. So their norm might be that they're listening, but they're doing something else at the same time. Or they've got other things on their mind. Now, if we keep focusing on this person and 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 focusing on all these different people in the world around us, when do we actually ask ourselves, what about me? What is it that I want? What is it? And that might be very difficult for us to do because we've never been given the opportunity to just talk about what is it that I want to do? What is it that I believe that I feel like I want to do for myself? And that can be very difficult because you've always been living in what will people think? What will people think? And then with what will people think comes shame, comes guilt, comes embarrassment. And these are very powerful emotions that we have to sit with, that we have to then feel. And we're not just feeling them, physiologically we're feeling them. So if you've gone out and done something against your norm, so you've gone and met a group of friends that your family have said, do not meet these people, and you've gone out and met them. You've come back home and your parents, your family members have really had a go at you, and you feel really ashamed, really embarrassed. But you know that deep down these friends aren't bad. These friends aren't bad people, but your parents or your family have said, no, you do not hang around with people like this, you hang around with people like this. So you now have a condition around you that in order to be accepted by my parents or not to get told off by my parents, I need to behave in a certain way. So you start thinking this way through life. And again, it comes with education. For example, you might think I need to behave in a certain way to get accepted. So for example, if every time you've done well at school, you may have got praised at home, and by getting praised at home, it's made you realize that, okay, in order to receive love or in order to receive validation, praise, which all comes from being loved, it's you feeling that I need to do X, Y, and Z. So you think, what will people think if I don't get this? People aren't going to think I'm not clever or think that there's something wrong with me, so I have to do this. So there's this pressure, it's an internal pressure that's put on ourselves. And again, it's not to blame anyone in this situation. It's not to blame your parents or your upbringing. We're going back to understand the root of why you are the way that you are right now, why you're presenting the way that you are. Because the more you understand this and go back and understand why you are presenting the way you are right now, it gives you a sense of understanding, a sense of awareness. And through awareness and understanding, this is where you can then make conscious choices to change because you get it, you understand it. And now when you're faced with like your boss at work and your boss has said, right, I need this report by Friday, and you know you don't have time to do this report, rather than rushing yourself and working yourself endless hours to try and get this done, you communicate to your boss and you say, look, this is something unfortunately I'm not able to do, or I've got this and to do. If you're able to give this to someone else, then I can take it on board, rather than just taking it because you're thinking about what will people do, what will people think rather. And even in relationships, it's not stopping yourself from developing a relationship with someone because you think, well, what are people going to think, or what will, because you're depriving your own happiness, you're depriving your own life and the way that you want to live in the world around you, because you're coming from the place of your condition of what will people think. So you enter a relationship because you feel like you should be doing this based on what people's perspectives are. But how can you please the whole world around you? You can't keep thinking about what will people think. And it's to consciously try and be aware of when you're doing this. So when you're at work, when you're with friends, when you're with family members, what are you doing and why are you behaving the way that you are? The more insight you get of that, the more awareness you get of that, then you can start making changes to be like, right, how am I going to change this? What do I want to do in order to try and change this? And again, journaling works wonders with this. Writing things down and really writing like experiences down. Now, I can share PDFs with you where you're writing down your triggers. What triggers you with shame, guilt, embarrassment when you are trying to live your life, but something's stopping you because you've got these emotions that are coming up for you. What is going on there? Now, if you try and be aware of what these emotions are, that will help you to get to the thought process of what's going on. Because ultimately, you want to be free of these emotions. You want to be free of stopping yourself from thinking what people are going to think, Because once upon a time, maybe that was what you had to think in order to survive. But right now, you don't need that in order to survive. Because this is your life and you own it. You can choose how you want to live. And yes, you may upset people along the way by making the choices that you make. But ultimately, you can't live for other people. You're here to live for yourself. You can't live for your family members or your friends. You're here to live for the things or the choices that you want to make. And you can keep trying to do the things that you want for other people. But how long can you keep doing that for? Until you get to a point where it's like, I don't feel like I'm living to my purpose or my passion. This isn't the life that I want. And this is where you stop and you'll reflect over, okay, how do I change this now? And change honestly comes from stopping, reflecting, really trying to understand. The understanding is very important. And it's not a blaming game, it's an understanding game. So on that note, if you have any comments about what we've spoken about, what people think, or if there's been any situations that you've had this experience where you've been thinking what will people think and it stopped you from doing something, share your experiences below, because it'll be great to really understand the things that have stopped you and the opportunities that you've missed because of this thought, this very powerful thought that comes up for you. So on that note, I am going to leave you and love you. Have an amazing day and I will speak with you soon. Take care. Bye bye.